This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
China's oil refinery throughput in November fell versus the previous month as independent refiners cut run rates amid weak margins and crude oil imports slowed. Total refinery throughput in the world's second-largest oil consumer was 59.53 million metric tons, data from the National Bureau of Statistics, (NBS), showed on Friday. That was equivalent to 14.48 million barrels per day, BPD, a slowdown on October's 15.05 million barrels of oil per day and the lowest daily level since the January to February period, during which run rates averaged 14.36 million barrels of oil per day.
The Biden administration is expected this week to recognize a soon-to-be-updated methodology favored by the ethanol industry in guidance to companies looking to claim tax credits for sustainable aviation fuel, SAF. 3 people familiar with the matter told Reuters. For months, the administration has been divided over whether to recognize the Department of Energy's greenhouse gases, regulated emissions and energy use in technologies, GRET, model. As it stands, that model would enable ethanol-based SAF to qualify for tax credits under the Inflation Reduction Act, President Joe Biden's signature climate law.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Global coal use is expected to reach a record high in 2023 as demand in emerging and developing economies remains strong, the International Energy Agency, IEA, said in a report on Friday. Demand for coal is seen rising 1.4% in 2023, surpassing 8.5 billion metric tons for the first time as usage in India is expected to grow 8% and that in China is seen up 5% due to rising electricity demand and weak hydropower output, the IEA said. In the European Union and United States, however, coal use is set to drop by around 20% each in 2023, the report said.
Russia has suspended about 2/3 of its Urals oil loadings from seaports due to a storm and scheduled maintenance, 2 traders said and LSEG data showed. There will be no shipments from Primorsk, the major Urals oil export port in the Baltic, December 13 to 18, the traders said and LSEG data showed. Oil loadings from the port of Novorossiysk, a major Urals oil outlet in the Black Sea, were also suspended on Friday due to a storm. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. China's crude steel output in November fell 3.8% from the prior month, extending a decline for the 5th consecutive month, official data showed on Friday, as low margins and slowing demand dented enthusiasm for production at many steelmakers. The world's largest steel producer manufactured 76.1 million metric tons of the ferrous metal last month, down from 79.09 million tons in October, data from the National Bureau of Statistics, (NBS), showed. The November volume compares to 74.54 million tons from the same month in 2022.
Fees to process copper concentrate in the Chinese spot market have fallen by a quarter in less than 3 months to stand below $70 a metric ton on Friday, fanned by worries over tight supply. The spot copper concentrate treatment charges, TC, in China, as assessed by information provider Shanghai Metals Market, SMM, hit $69.48 a ton, down 25% from $93.23 a ton on September 28. Such treatment charges, one of the main sources of income for smelters, fall when less copper concentrate is available, and vice versa.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Chinese corn breeders are preparing for the planting of more than double the amount of genetically modified corn next year than in 2023, 3 industry sources said, with Beijing expected to tightly control for a second year the rollout of GMOs. GMO corn will be allowed on around 10 million mu, or about 670,000 hectares, 1.66 million acres, in 8 provinces next year, including the northeastern province of Liaoning for the first time, said one of the sources, who was briefed on a proposal discussed at a meeting held by the Agriculture Ministry last month. The other 2 sources, who are familiar with the situation, also said GMO seed developers and breeders are preparing for the planting of around 10 million mu. The mu is a Chinese area measurement equal to about 1/15 of a hectare. That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.